So there are some things within this piece of legislation that I'd just like to draw your attention to, some concerns that we have. And the first one is about the Firearms Register. When we look at the Firearms Register, and the reason why police said they wanted to have it was because they told us that they wanted to be able to know where every firearm is at every place in case they had to turn up in an emergency. However, criminals will not register their firearms, and those are generally the places that police are going to turn up to. I mean, heck, criminals don't even get firearms licenses. So the Select Committee said, look, there's some things within that piece of legislation, the draft bill, that we're a little bit concerned about, including the fact that firearms licensed owners would have to, register every time they move their firearms. So they've given us a 30-day buffer where if you are moving a firearm temporarily within 30 days, then you don't need to register. Well, the thing with that is that just negates registration altogether, because within 30 days, police won't know where those firearms are. So it makes the whole clause redundant. We also have the potential for further data breaches with the Firearms Register, and that will increase the insecurity of licensed firearm owners and their families, and that is of major concern. We do not want to be giving criminals a list of our firearms with our home addresses, so we have major concerns on that. Second point I would like to make is on the clubs and ranges. We have clubs and ranges around this country that are probably going to be closing down as a result of the implementation of the arms legislation bill and the restrictions that will be placed on them for compliance, expensive compliance to a new regime. If we have clubs and ranges shutting down, then that means we're going to have people shooting, sighting in their rifles in places that are not being managed by responsible and licensed people. That's concerning. It makes a less safe country, and we should not be having that. I'd also like to speak to you about the possession of ammunition and how what we have now is a situation where it's going to be hard to train people in the safe use and control of firearms if they cannot take possession of ammunition to learn about it. And that will make, again, a less safe society. People need to be able to know how to handle their firearms, how to control their firearms, and that includes all the elements of it. And possession of ammunition will mean that those that don't have a license will be committing an offence. And currently there's tens of thousands of people out there that do not have licenses but are learning the safe use and control. They need to be in possession of ammunition to be able to do so. So that's a bit of a nonsense. So then if we go from there to the offences. So it'll be an offence if you are in possession of ammunition illegally, and you may not even realise that you're doing so. But there's a whole lot of other pieces of legislation in there that are creating offences that people won't realise that they are now offences. And some of these will actually have $10,000 fines attributed to them. It's so disproportionate to some of the other areas of law that have smaller fines. The licensed firearm owners have worked successfully with New Zealand Police and government to produce legislation in the past that has lasted us nearly 4 decades. We are in the position to be able to do that again. We need to be able to keep each other safe, and that means we have to have laws that actually work, not laws that are thrown together in the hope that we can make a 12-month mark. With this in mind, we ask for our parliamentarians to please wait for the Royal Commission inquiry report to come out so that we can identify all of the issues that led to this horrible attack, and then work with the community to again come up with a piece of legislation that can see us another further 40 years and actually help keep New Zealanders safe.